that's awkward.
Yeah.
Well, no one knows what the speed limit is.
No, it's actually 120 in this road here.
Yes, it is. Hello guys, welcome back to Td5 TV. We're starting off this video today in my Defender, and Nissa, you're going to explain what we're doing today.
What we're doing today is I got this awesome tool called a Nanocom in the post here just short of Christmas, and we're gonna go around and see what it can actually do, what kind of features it's got, and we're gonna improve your car a tiny bit by adjusting the boost pressure, which this thing can also measure because of the inlet sensor that sits right next to the rocker cover. So we're gonna go ahead and try and do that, see if we get a tiny bit more boost, because more boost is better no matter how you look at it. So in the box you get the box itself, where you got this cover here that you can throw about and protect the front of the screen when you're not using it. It's all completely metal constructed, also the case as well. And you got this display right here, where it's a touch screen. With it you get the cable, which is a DVI-D cable, I believe, that goes into the ODB2 type cable here. For the Defenders, the ODB2 is located right down here by the gear levers. So we've got a little extensions that come from the ECU, which is under my seat, runs around and goes right out here. And the Discovery is in the driver's side. It's just beneath here under the dash. You can actually feel it right about here. So that is where the two things are located. So what you do is just take this bit here, plug it into it, and then it actually feeds power from it, so you don't need to get any batteries or anything into it. There you go. Powering up. And when you buy the box here, you have to buy some unlock codes for it as well, which are already inside of it. Like, all the programs are already inside of it, but they have the unlock codes for them. So you need to go in and buy the unlock codes you need. And right now I think I've only got the map things I can change, and also the engine management for the Td5 engine, and I brought it for the Discovery. Well, that was it. I brought the Discovery, and with that comes the Td5 engine management, which means all the vehicles that uses the Td5 engine I can go in and access. So I only bought this one, but I could go into the Defender menu here, choose the Td5, and there you go. So we've got all the different menus we'll go into it. And with that, if you go into the map, you can actually get an SD card, which slides in right here. This thing, one way and other things this way. Yep, like that. And with that, you can actually have a map loaded onto the SD card, and from there on you can load it into the vehicle if it is a 15p. If it's only a 10p, then you need to get the chip swapped over to another one, because the 10p is not mappable, or you can't exit from the outside. And you also got a tiny USB micro thing here, I think it's called, and that's for updating the Nanocom. I've already updated mine. It's really simple. You just download the program from the website, and it just tells you through what you need to do, both on the Nanocom and on the on this PC screen. It took about 20 minutes, and you had the latest firmware. And they also got very nice tutorials on how to do all these things on their website, and they also got a Nanocom cutout on their website where you can actually access it on the computer. So if you haven't got a Nanocom, or you kind of want to practice how to do it, you can just go under that little kind of model of it and do things there. So in here you can do all the stuff that your normal thing can do, as like programming or like reading fault codes and all that. Settings, inputs, but you can go even deeper than that and do different things that the normal one can't do, like learn the security code. If you've got a new ECU, you need to learn the security code from the Defender. You can do that. I already used it once on my dad's Defender, as he got a Storm Tuning Stage 1 remap by Daniel, and I brought this just for that occasion, and also because we got so many Td5s that we actually need this thing. And also I'm probably running a Stage 3 soon, which he also said I need to get this one to do all the things with it. But you can read the fault codes. And if we try and go into the Puma here, we should probably say that it's locked. Yeah, well, it's not there. But that means you have to go in and buy the codes for it, and you can see what types of vehicle it supports. You've got the Defender, Discovery 2, the P38, Cando's vehicle. I don't know what that is, probably some vehicle that uses the Land Rover Cando system. but these 3 vehicles are those you can actually access with it. Go in here, Td5. You can also do a live show of what the engine is telling all the small sensors that you can access normally. So you haven't got any, like, I don't know, gauges for everything. You can just see it on here. You can see the engine revs, coolant temperature, turbo pressure, voltage, which is really nice for doing tuning with. So you don't need to get a million gauges just to watch all the. You just buy this thing. It'll tell you everything because all the sensors are already there. This thing just knows how to access them, which is quite nice. And you can record it as well and do different things. Very nerdy that I don't know anything about. And then you go into the Td5 map, SD card there around there. But in there you can go in and then you can copy the map from the SD card and load that directly onto the ECU, and that way you can do it. And then you got some ABS, which I don't think I've got access to, although this car doesn't have ABS anyway, but I don't think I got that for it. Otherwise that is pretty much what it does. It's a bit glitchy from time to another, as you can see here. What I did at one point where I plugged it in and it didn't want to start, I just went back inside and updated the whole thing and then it wanted to work again. But it is a bit glitchy, so I don't think you are supposed to be able to do it with this kind of computer here on this kind of nice interface. But yeah, that is kind of what you get. And on the website, if you buy like the programs or like the other keys, you just go in and buy them and you get them straight away. So you, like the second you press the mouse button, you'll pretty much be able to do that on your Nanocom. So if you're standing in the driveway, you have a problem with the ABS, then you could just go into the website, buy that code for it, and you get the like specific code for this, like one with the serial number 16628. You know, you get that specific code that unlocks the ABS for a Defender on this Nanocom. So that way you can't really cheat, but you get your product straight away when you buy it. Like the only persons you can buy the Nanocom off are the guys themselves at nanocom.com. So yeah, but great service, came straight away. Everything worked. Already did 1 vehicle with it, and we plan to do a lot more vehicles with this Nanocom. So yeah, but for today we're gonna go in and go into the Td5 menu, go into the instrument board, and from there on, I'm just gonna plug it. From there on we should be able to see the boost pressure that Liam's running. And I know your map is about 3 years old now?
Yeah,
about 3 years old. So it is a bit outdated map because the guys at Storm Tuning, or Daniel, keeps developing new improvements for the maps. And with this we should be able to just, you know, get an SD card from Daniel, or actually just a file sent from him, and we can put it onto the SD card and plug the SD card in, and then we can just load on a new map onto it, so we actually get the updated version of the stage 2, because you already got the intercooler, you got EGR blanking, all that stuff. So it should pretty much just be a plug and play from there. But right now, we saw yesterday that you were running about 1.25 bars of boost, where I know mine is running about 1.35. So we're going to turn the boost a tiny bit up and see if we can just get a tiny bit more power out of it, because you can actually see the boost pressure you're running. And we don't know if that's the correct turbo, like the boost you should be running on this map, but I'm going to try it anyway and see if it does it different. So that is the plan for today.
So we're going to head out on the road now, drive a couple kilometers up this way, then possibly adjust the turbo, then drive back again and see the results. Yep. This is filming the Nanocom with my phone here, so you can kind of get the live results. And I'm going to try and boot it a bit and see what numbers we can pull on this.
Yeah, because we want the highest possible boost we can get. Unless you pretty much need to go to the highest gear you can go up in here. 1.24, right? 1.2228. Briefly hit 1.2. that's why you need a rev counter. It's really
Yeah.
nice to watch the revs.
I'd love to get one, but they are expensive.
Yeah, if you want to get the like old heavy version of that connects to DCU, they're quite expensive.
Yeah, I think
The
like
ones that go off
250
the
quid or
wall.
something.
Yeah,
They are really nice.
those are ones that says like Td5.
Yeah, exactly.
The needle.
So we're back down the lower speed limit zone. So we're going to go in here and turn around, or maybe have a look at the turbo.
Yeah, we can actually watch the road speed here.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Well, no one knows what the speed limit is in this.
No, it's actually 120 in this road here.
Yes, it is. Actually, that small part of road is actually part of the autobahn.
Yeah, it is.
It's
That's
not
the
commonly known, but
No.
it is.
It's the first part of the Danish autobahn. So nice and clean.
So on the turbo here we got the wastegate, which is right here. And with that you've got an adjusting rod with a locking nut. What you want to do is get a 10 mil, undo this, locking nut. That's up. Undo it a bit. And then if you shorten it you get more boost. If you lengthen it you get less boost. So you want to shorten the rod a bit. That means you want to turn it this way around. I'm using the pliers because the engine is very hot now. Gonna go in here and turn it a bit. Like that. And you can locking that again. Excellent. Now we should see increased boost pressure with that tiny bit of amount. Then you just want to do a tiny bit at a time. Before you hit the boost limit that you want. So close back down again and take it back down to the farm and see what boost pressure we're running.
So the highest pressure before was what? 1.30 I think.
Yeah, 1.3 I think.
Yeah. We get an automatic cutoff, which is a force save that Daniel puts in all these ECUs. If you get too high pressure, it goes into limp mode, so you can't damage anything inside of the engine. You're safe from that.
I think that's just a Td5 thing in general, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be.
Oh yeah. What's the limit to that? Backed off there.
Yeah, it did.
That was cool. That was the first time I felt it actually back off
Yeah,
from pushing it.
I've done that loads of times in the disco.
We know you have. Liz,
Yeah.
We know you have.
That's a popcorn. It's like,
What was it you said in the video where we installed your remap? That if you do it too much, it's going to kill your engine?
yeah, I'm trying to figure out how many times I have to do it before it dies.
So what have you just adjusted now?
A bit more boost.
More
Really,
boost,
I just
okay.
shorten the rod a bit more. That means the wastegate opens like later. You can build more boost with the pipes. Try and fit a high gear and then just floor it. that in the photo. We said I need to swap that hose out. So when I got something called injector hose, which like braided with some cloth around it to get that, because then it can't like expand whenever the boost pressure goes up. And put that on, and then my boost pressure went from like, I think at one point I hit like 1.5-ish normally running, so I kept getting the limp mode. I just couldn't understand why, because the turbo was completely backed off. So I went and got the other hose and put that on, and then the boost pressure like was more controllable.
But that's not bad going for a Defender that's 20 years old and done 300,000 kilometers, and is doing that, pushing way over factory power.
Yeah.
And temperatures are still good.
And they've done it for 3 years now.
Yeah, exactly. It's been doing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
So
again, people like, what I see on the internet is people saying like, oh, can I remap my Defender, which has got, I don't know, 350,000 kilometers on it. And really a diesel is built a lot tougher than a petrol. So if you see like let's just take the RB for example, if you see that with 300,000 on it, and it's been abused, and you don't want to, like, you need to rebuild it. But if you see a diesel with 300,000, it's just, you can go another 200,000. But then again, there happen things where the pistons crack and the head goes and all that, which are things you can't control. Like, they will happen at some point, but you just don't know if it's at 3,000 or it's 700,000 kilometers that happens. Of course, putting more pressure on it, more power and more strain on the engine, that of course is gonna, do all the things for the engine. But the engine was built very, very tough, and it can take the beating that we're putting through it.
But it also, you have to factor in like how you're looking after it and how often you're servicing it, and
you definitely want to do more service on it if you want more power, running at higher revs, because that is just gonna like wear out the oil, and the oil's gonna get thinner. That way you don't get the same lubrication, and then your bottom end is gonna come out at some point.
And we are servicing all of these vehicles regularly, and keep an eye on everything, and we're not driving like this 24/7. And it was funny actually, I saw a Facebook post the other day which I really liked, which spoke about how car enthusiasts are always the ones that get the blame for being reckless or having noisy cars or whatever, but actually I think for the most part car enthusiasts are the ones that probably have cars in better condition and drive more sensibly, because they know how to use a car and how to look after a car.
Exactly.
So as long as you know what you're doing, there's nothing to worry about. And like I said, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and it's been running better than ever, but we still get plenty of comments on the channel talking about that it's going to blow up tomorrow. And like Nissa said, it is going to affect the wear and tear, but it's relative. So
as long as you don't hit that power all the time, it's going to wear like a normal engine. It's not because you got 500 horsepower, but you're only using 100 of them. You're only going to wear for 100 horsepower. And again, like driving it at high revs is quite good for the engine at some point, because I know my sister's Td5, which my dad brought, and the wastegate kept getting stuck, and that was because she was driving it at too low revs, at like only 2,000 revs. She was changing gear. So when you like keep maxing it out at 3,000 like once or twice every day, if you're doing a long trip, that way you kind of freed it off, and you're gonna burn all that thing that's gonna block all the passage ways and the oil that gets into the engine. So my dad just kept doing that, like driving at high revs for about like 3 days or so, when the wastegate came free and like the turbo completely cleaned out. So we're now back on the disco here, because running the Nanocom, you cannot run that for like always. You cannot use it to display the like different temperatures and all that 24 hours when you're doing a long road trip or so. So what I've gone ahead and done is install this EGR blanking kit, which has a extra output here for boost, because of course, as you know, the turbo creates the pressure, goes through the intercooler and goes up here, and what you actually get here is the actual pressure that goes into the engine. So I just went ahead and bought this EGR blanking. It just says like Td5 EGR blanking kit with a turbo gauge output or something like that, and put on this quite strong rubber hose here, and running that inside the cabin, where I've then got a BDO boost pressure gauge. And it's quite important that you get the right gauge, like a gauge that is made by a company that it's renowned for doing good products, because if you get some kind of cheap eBay Chinese one, like the one we got from Bob, like Draken gauge, something like that, that's just gonna tell you like the wrong boost pressure you're running. So you want like VDO original or any other kind of type of boost gauge that you can trust. So that's how I keep controlling the boost pressure. And as you see here, the line I swapped over was this bit here for some injector hose, which is kind of like, I don't know, braided line pretty much that runs in, because the other one was a flimsy one like this, which is just, if you're running too much pressure, it's like a balloon, you're just going to blow it up and you're going to get like, the whole hose is going to get wired on that, where you get higher boost pressure, which you don't want. So I went ahead and got that onto it. So the gauge I fitted here is just, it's a VDO gauge, but I just temporarily fitted into this thing. I thought it was a bit smaller, this plastic cup that could sit in between these bit here, but it can't. And I found another one, but it's all the way in Australia, so I'm still thinking about buying that. But I've made 2 holes here. I want to get the oil pressure in here, and this is the boost pressure, and I cannot push it all the way in because there's a small copper tube that runs into the hose, which is going to hit the back here. I'm going to kink the hose doing that, but it sits here and I can actually read the boost pressure that comes out of it. There's no light or anything in it yet. It's just really quick mock-up just to make sure I'm running the right boost pressure. And of course the maximum pressure you're going to be running is about, you know, I would say maximum of 2 bars. So with the lowest one that measures up to 3 bars, but if I could get 1 to 2, I've probably gotten that, but that's the lowest one I could find. So one last thing I want to show just before we end this episode is going into the Td5 engine here, where we are gonna see if we can't find the injector codes. I think it's outputs maybe. Oh yeah, there's another one. You can test the different things in the car. If you like just put the engine in and you want to know if everything is working, you can like test the fuel pump. You need to have the ignition on, but then you should hear the fuel pump going buzz in the back, and as well you can do the glow plugs and everything like that, which is quite neat. Maybe no, it's not utilities. I'm still getting used to this thing. Fault settings. But yeah, in here you should be able to see. You might also have to get the ignition on, but in here it says the different injector numbers, which are stamped into the top of the injector. So to get the injector number, you have to take the rocker cover off. So my advice should be, whenever you're changing out the wiring loom, the injector loom underneath the rocker cover, just take a bit of degreaser and a bit of paper and just smear it off all the injectors. You get the injector codes and just note them down from the first to the last one, like from furthest to the radiator and back to the cabin. And that way, if you get an ECU from, let's say, Daniel, he's remapped an ECU for you, but he only put the maps onto it, but not like the injector codes or anything. You need to get the Nanocom or get a workshop to put in the injector codes for you, which you do in here, where you simply just put injector 1 and then you can just type in here what kind of, you know, injector code it is, and that's letters and numbers, both in different like a line of different letters and things. And what they really just tell you is from the factory, when they test the injectors, they said like it can spray this much in this much time, and then you just give it this number, because then it's like all the ECUs knows like, oh, I got this type of injector, which I need to do this to delay it, or I need to put this much fuel pressure to it, or something like that. So it's really like numbered onto each injector, so the engine or the ECU needs to know what injector is inside of it to deliver like the maximum power or like the best efficiency of the diesel and air coming into the engine. So that's definitely a good thing to have or know where that is, to be able to muck about with it. So yeah, I think that was the last thing I want to show about the Nanocom, and we'll definitely be doing more stuff with this in the future when we go to the next stage, which is stage 3, which involves storm tunings, a VNT turbo as well, or maybe a hybrid turbo or something like that. And for that we need to put in new maps and all that thing, and we might actually also get Daniel over here to help us, because it's a quite complicated matter of putting a VNT turbo up compared to a hybrid, a standard turbo for that matter. But yeah, I'm very happy about this computer here. Also because we got so many Td5s around here, you really need one just to do anything on it. So yeah, if you got any questions about the Nanocom or anything, just type down in the description. I will try and figure out if you can get an answer or anything for it. But they're quite expensive. They're about, what's it, 400-ish, 450 pounds or so. So they're quite expensive, these computers, but they pretty much got everything you need to run a Td5. So if you're into Td5 and you want to get a stage 3, I would definitely recommend getting a Nanocom to do it. But as I said, like normal mechanics in a workshop can also do it with their computers, so you can just pay those guys to do it. But otherwise, I believe in the Td5 Facebook group, they're actually setting up like a piece of paper where it says, you know, if you are from that area, a guy nearby have got a Nanocom that can maybe help you out. So go and join that Facebook group. We'll put a link down in the description of it, where they're kind of working out this list here of people owning a Nanocom to come and help other Td5 owners. So you don't have to go to a workshop and pay those a lot of money, just a beer, a meal or something like that.
So that was a nice little introduction to the Nanocom, and as Nissa said, we'll be getting a lot more use out of that and be able to do a lot more with the TD5s that we seem to be accumulating here, and play around a bit more with the tuning side of things. So looking forward to see what we get to do with that in the future. But anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.